Okay, so we have been going through, I can see you have been going through all these properties, and we're supposed to dive into uh, day 21, which is basically classes and objects. But I feel like this is very important part of Python, classes and objects. And I feel like we will take from day 21 to, day 25. We are going to have sessions where we will walk through some of the important concepts and you do the assignment. We receive a lot of feedbacks from other fellows that they are not from computer science background. They don't have Python. They really need to have some kind of hold hand to show them the stuff. But what we assumed previously was that everyone that joins this session has completed the Python, prerequisite, and he has some, beginner experience. That is why we, just give this as a challenge before we dive into the normal data science. But nevertheless, from now on, we'll start having the session. But before we do classes and objects, I take us back to discuss today one of the important part of, things you need to know before going, which is functions and modules. Functions and modules. So what we'll be doing today, let me share my screen, is we already share with you this book called Python Crash Course. This is very important book that contains some basics that allow anyone with the non-Python experience to dive into the Python from the beginning. And this is the third edition. And if you look at our GitHub repository, you will see that if you go back to machine learning, right? So if you go back here, you can see a new repository added called Python Crash Course, right? So I pushed this book, third edition, and what we want to do now today, I will try to go through and cover one of the part of the chapter, which is what we have been doing in our previous fellow. We ask the fellows to, the book has two parts. We have introduction, which is part one, which is basics, and part two, which is project. Part one, we have important chapters here. You can see from chapter one, getting started, chapter two, variable and data type, list, chapter four, working with leap, statement, condition, chapter six, dictionary, chapter seven, user input, chapter seven is function, and chapter nine is classes. So these two chapters, functions and classes, they are very important. And today I will dive into, this function chapter and to deal with what function is and a lot of things that you can do with function. The next session we'll dive into classes so that we'll move on into our 30 days Python, which is it. So what I would recommend is when we finish chapter 8 functions, there are exercises in it. So we expect you to do the exercises. You can see the exercises. You can see exercise this, so you can see we have exercises. So the thing is, when we finish the session, you need to create a GitHub, in your GitHub repository, you need to create a folder, not 30 days, but you name it Python Crash Course, just like this, Python Crash Course. Then you submit the assignment, you call the folder called functions, and you submit this assignment. So this is what we did in our previous cohort. Also, when we come to the class, we have assignments at the end of the chapter. So we just want you to, be exposed with what is needed. Just read the chapter. It's very, very important, and the book is very easy to follow. Read the function chapter and also read the class. But today we'll dive into the function class chapter. So what is functions? So you have already seen what functions are, but I believe today at the end of this, you will learn two or more things on functions. So functions are, one of the most important part of programming, if you are doing, is to create functions that allow you to, abstract some repetitive task that you're gonna use some part of the code. So they are designed as well to do some specific objectives to tasks given anything. So for example, now you want to write a program, people, go to the market. When they go to the market, they buy fish, they do a lot of things. So you can write a function to do different parts. For example, you can write a function that drives somebody from home to market, right? And you can write a function that allows somebody to buy something. So this is what that means. So let me show us the skeletal structure of what function is. So if you want to create a function, you need to use a keyword called def. Then you need to give the function name here, then something called, parameters. And then you provide the statement, which is the body of the function, and you can use a return expression. So this is what we'll be seeing in detail on the next 1 hour. How can we use several ways to use functions? So for example, this is a function that allows you to do addition of two things. You can see this is a def. This is a keyword. When we say a keyword, it means something that doesn't change. So this is something usually using def. Then this is the function name. You can see function name, which is add. And X and Y, you can see parameters. These are called the parameters, is X and Y parameter. And now we have statement. So immediately after this line, we have semicolon here. You can see semicolon. So any function end with semicolon. So you can see we have this colon, right? And now we have a function statement, which is the body of the function. We have something called print, argument X and Y, and we have something return. You can see something. We also have a line, immediately after the function. This one is called function definition. So immediately after the function definition, we used to have some kind of, you can see something in string. This is what we call, who can tell us what is the name of this line in Python?
Indentation.
Eh?
Indentation.
No, this thing that is within 3 lines, you can see it's explaining what the function is. A function that add 2 values.
Comment, for it. Right?
Comment.
Not a comment. Not a comment. In Python, this is not called a comment. Who can tell us?
Body is sorry.
What is it called?
A multi-line string.
No, it's not a multi-line string.
Is it a docstring?
Docstring, perfect. So this is called docstring. Docstring. So when you write a function here, this is not necessary, just like comment. This is optional. Can you see when I point out, this is optional, but it explains what the function is doing, and it's very important, as I will show you. Now here you can see the function is printing F. You can see here I put something F and put something dash here, and you can see something dash here. What this is in Python, I don't know if you understand. Anybody knows what this is doing? What is this F is doing? Anybody who knows what F is doing here?
It's used to format, to pass a dynamic value.
Yes. It's used to format, dynamic value. So what this means is that if I have a value, I want to output it inside. I want to, format a string. You can see argument here. I put a string, but I want to put some value. So you need to use this F. F string, we call it F string, and you can see the X value is inside this open bracket and close. And when I run this is a function. When I have something like this, add, you can see 2 and 3. What this function you can see is doing is returning X and Y, the summation. So when I run this, you can see here, argument are 2 and 3. You can see what you put here, because even though this is inside a string, but we use F string format to output these 2 and 3, and now you can see the summation is what? 5. This is what we call function. This is what we call function. Now, I'll take us a bit more about that. So you can see this is called def keyword. This is called function name. This X and Y are called function arguments. And you can see here return, the return statement, and here inside everything. And this colon end in the function definition, and it is necessary. So this is the skeletal structure of what function is. But remember, I told you we have some kind of comment here that is called docstring. So who can tell us what is a function of docstring? We know for comments in Python, it allows readability for function call, right? But who can tell us what is a function of docstring? What is it doing here? Obviously, it is telling us here when you see the function, this is telling you that it's adding 2 values. But what other function docstring is doing? Who can volunteer to tell us? What other function docstring does? So for example, now, if you don't know, you cannot see this code, and you only have this function add, how can we know what this function add? Because from the name add, you know now it is addition, right? But if it is something name, you don't know what this function is doing, and you want to know what it's doing. So what you need to do is, you can see here is that I can take this add function name. When I call this, you can see question mark. So what do you expect to come out when I run this? Who can tell us? What do you expect this to come out?
The docstring.
Yes, so you can see here, you can see a function that add 2 values. Can you see doctrine? So if, for example, you are doing program, any function, you know, for example, summation, sum, anything, when you add this, it will tell you this is a function signature, you know, add, but the doctrine, what this function is doing, you can see it add 2 values. You can see this is a doctrine, right? And you can see basically as well, you know, the type, this is a function. So this is what we call doctrines. It allows you to show what the function is doing and also, you know, explain it better. Now we understand now how to write a function, but how do you call? We have what we call function call. Now, when you create a function like this, we need to use it in some ways in our programming, in some part of our code, then we need to call it. So that's what we call function call. So for a function call, what we need to do is just call the name of the function and put your argument. So this is just what we call function call, because the name of the function is add, and if you want to use that, you just need to call. And this is what I already explained, docstring. It allows you to see, you know, whatsoever it is. So for example, this is a function, you can see greet user, right? This is a greet user, and we have a docstring, display a simple greeting, because the function only print hello, right? So when we call, this is a function call. When we write this, you can see it print the anything inside the under the function. But you should know is that you can see here after this colon, we indented this part, right? So a function must have indentation immediately after the column. If not, there will be an error. For example, let me show us here. You can see, let me use this. You can see here, for example, you know, the indentation is not supported. It's telling you indentation error. So whenever you see indentation error, Python is very, you know, specific about indentation. It's used, so we must indent code. So that's what we call a function, and that's what we call a doctrine. So now we know how to actually create a function, the structure. Let's move on, pathing information. Now, with this, you can see here, I just create a function called greet user, and I just run it, and now I call it here, and it print hello. Means under here, under the function name, that is what we call print hello. But that is what we call passing information to a function. Passing information to a function. So here I have a function called greet user, and now here I have the username, the name of the person I want to greet. You can see here, it just say hello. So if I want to print the name of the person, you can see I can say print hello. And remember here, because the user will input the username, so anything that is imputed as a username will be now imputed here. Username, the title here is a function that changes, you know, if something is written as lowercase or something, it will change to title case, meaning it's a title case. And now when we run this function, and now when we call this greet user, and you can see this is a username. When I run this, you can see hello Jess, right? And we can change this Musa, and we can see it says hello Musa, right? Remember, the argument, what we pass must be in quote. You can see in quote, right? Whether single quote or double quote. You can type this like this. You can see when you pass, you know, information to function, it must be in quote. If I have this, you can see it gives me an error. So passing information to function must be in single quote or double quote. That's how we can pass information to, function. Now, the next thing we're going to see is what we call argument and parameters. So this is something very confusing. People take two things, argument and parameters are the same. So in function, when we have two things, for example, here, okay, now you can see here, I have a function, right? And now this username is something that I put, right? This is just a dummy username. You just write something dummy, and now you call it, meaning whatsoever the user, when you call greet user, whatsoever string he put here, it will be replaced here. Now, this one is different from what you supported. So here you can see I provided the real one, but here is the dummy, which is not the real name. So what is the name of the real one that you provided to the function when you do a function call? What is the name of the dummy stub that you provided in a function definition? Who can tell us the difference between the two? Here I provided the real argument to the function call. Here I provided something dummy. I can call this X. It doesn't matter. I can call this X. Let me show you. Can you see? And now where I run this, you can see Musa. So this doesn't matter whatsoever you give it. So does anybody knows the two names of these two things?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The dummy is called parameter.
Okay,
And
what about this
the one that you call or the represent the parameter or the value is argument.
Right, good. So that's what we call argument and parameter. The variable username that we provided in the definition of Git is an example of what we call parameter. And an argument is a piece of information that passes from function to a function. So this is what we call argument. When you are told function argument, this is for function argument. When you are told function parameter, this is function parameters. So this is something people sometimes speak of argument and parameters interchangeably. Don't be surprised if you see variable in a function definition referred to as argument. So this is something that you should be aware of. Okay, let me wait now to respond to questions if people have questions about what we just talked about right now. Raise up your hand if you have question. So we are doing this just to recap of what you have seen in function because we are going to do classes and we believe classes is very important and the knowledge of function will be very useful for the classes. So that's why we are revising this. So passing argument. So now we know what is argument. This is argument and this is parameter. Now, how can we pass argument? This is a very good question to answer. So we have two things that you should know. We have what we call positional arguments. We have what we call keyword arguments, positional arguments and keyword arguments. So let me give you an example what this means. Now we have a function called describe pet. And now I have something animal type and pet name. Now I have a docstring and now I have print F. And now here is a new line. I have a animal type. Whatsoever we input in this function name will be replaced here. And here print my animal type will be here. My animal type's name is pet name.title. Now, I want to call this. So this is function definition. I define this function. So maybe let me use this. Maybe if some people are, some people confused. Let me give you an example. If I have A equals to 2, I have A equals to 2, and I have B equals to 3. What F string is doing when I have this, for example, result equals to okay, let me see this print. Let me show you print A plus B equals to okay, print A plus B equals to A plus B, something like this, A plus B. So can somebody tell us what is the problem here? Can somebody tell us what is the problem here? I write something like this and it shows me an error. Can somebody explain why is this?
There's a problem
What is the problem?
because in the A you have to put the sign that the A plus B for the second term are variable. The A plus B plus 2 are the string.
I need to do like this. Do you mean like
no,
this?
you have to calibrate.
Okay, calibrate like this.
Yes. The next calibrate.
Like this?
Yes.
So still I will have an error.
I think you
have
to remove the quotation.
F. After print, you have to F here.
I need to put F?
Yes.
Okay, so what about this? So what I want to show you is the importance of what we call F string. So this one allows you to, you can see here A and B, it takes the value of A, 2, it takes the value of B, 3, and put it because they are inside this. You can see it didn't put A and B here. A and B here, you can see they are here, right? But here it takes the real value. So this is what we call F string. So I don't want you to be confused what we are doing here. So what this means is that we have F string. I have a, and this one is new line. You know what is new line, right? I have a, so animal type, whatsoever I put here, it will be replaced here. So you can see here, I create a function. Now here I want to call the function. If I want to call the function, I just need to input these 2 arguments. You know what? Yeah. So here I have my argument hamster, animal type, and the pet name is this, right? And you can see here I put them in code. I told you if you want to do function code, you must be in either single quote, double quote. So when I have this, you can see that I have a animal. I have a hamster. My animal type hamster's name is pet name. The pet name is what? Harry. You can see here Harry is a lowercase, but here when I call it Harry, and I call the title. When I say the title, it means change it to title case, that is start with capital letter. So what if I want to change this to capital letter? What can I say? Who can tell us?
Okay.
You mean like this? Like this? Is it a function? So let somebody say off I guess. So when we do this, it will give us an error, no? Who can tell us? Who can volunteer? If we want to change the whatsoever we have here to offer case, what can we use here?
Dot offer.
So dot offer, like this?
No, dot capitalize. Dot capitalize, right?
So no, keyword, Python keyword are all case sensitive. They are lower. So you don't need to say capital. So yeah, so that upper you can see what we mean. Yeah. So this is something you can see we have, 2 arguments here. But what I want to tell us here is that you can see I passed 2 arguments, right? The first one here and the second one here. This is what we call positional argument. You must type the name of the animal at the beginning and the pet name at the, so this is what we call positional argument, right? You must provide their position. So for example here, this is multiple function calls. You can also call multiple call function with different name, you consider. But what I want to tell you is that when I change this, so you can see the first one is hamster, the second one is Harry. So when I change this one here and I put Harry here, when I input it, you can see the order changes. So whatsoever here, what you have here, first must come here, the name of the animal, because hamster now is not the animal type. Hamster is animal type and Harry is the pet name. So you can see there, this is what we call positional arguments. You must provide them the way they are. But we have another one called keywords argument. Let me show you what is the meaning of keyword argument. So here you can see, I said animal type is equal to hamster. You can see that. Pet name is equal to Harry. You can see that. animal type is equals hamster and pet name equals. So you can see here, I specify the animal type, I specify the Harry and the pet's name, right? It is still the same thing, everything. But now when I come here, you can see that I can have animal type. You can see it's here. The first one I can say it's here like this, and it can give me. But at the same time, I can change the pet name. You can see I have a hamster, which is the animal type, and my hamster's name is Harry. You can see because I put them in order. This is the first one, animal type. But can I took the pet name to be at the beginning and the animal type to come to the end? What will happen? It still gives you the correct one. I don't know if we understand the keyword argument or not.
Understood.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say here is that in keyword argument, you specify, you say animal type equals to, for example, here. Okay, let me remove this one. Animal type. Okay, animal type, the same function, pet name, right? So now when I come here, I say animal type is this, pet name is Harry. So when I call this function, I will see this. But when I call here, I say pet name is Harry, animal type is this. When I call this, it gives me the same thing. But in keyword, in positional argument, you must provide them. You can see here, I had to call the name of the parameter and provide the value, right? So if you can do this, this is what we call a keyword, because you provide the key and the value. Any question? Any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Subject to this keyword argument.
Mm-hmm.
So it has some limitation in terms of using, simply because I think if somebody wanted to change the pit name from Harry to Porter, what is it going to happen? It's going to give an error, isn't it? Because
so,
it's already declared up.
Oh, no, I remove it here. I remove it here. Look at it. I remove.
Okay. So that's
I remove the one. You can see I remove. So we just have animal type and pet name. So you can just provide anyone. It will just use exactly what is inside the code. So we have default values. Sometimes you can provide default value to your, in the parameters. So you can see here pet name, animal type, I provide a default value dog. So what happened here now? So you always have animal type is a dog. Now, when I come here, I said describe pet name is Willie, because the animal type is already provided. When I print this one, it will provide, I have a dog. Can you see that? Animal type, already provided dog. My dog's name is Willie. So you can see that. But as well, even if you have the default one, you can override the default. So you can see we already have the default. But when you come and say, okay, your animal type is tiger, what will happen? Who can guess what will happen? Who can guess what will happen? Who can guess what will happen now? We have animal type tiger.
Tiger will over.
The value pass will override the default.
Yes,
value.
Exactly. So you can see it overridden. So this is what we call default value. So sometimes it's very useful. When you read the book, you'll see a lot of examples why all these are very important. So that's how we pass value. But there is also some errors that people can do. So you can see, for example, I'm using the same function, but here I have two arguments, animal type and pet type, pet name, right? Now I run this function, and now I call it with maybe only single, animal type is equals to dog. For example, only one argument. I will have an error because pet name is not provided. So when you miss avoiding argument errors, this is what we call, describe pet missing when required positional argument. Can you see pet name? So when you have, two parameters you must provide. So you can see here I have two, but I provide one. But if to say you have default one, so that's okay, the default one will come. So as here you can see we already have, for example, default one, which is animal type is dog. So now when I call without one, it can automatically use the default one. Okay, let me run it again. So it will automatically use the default one. So that's what we mean by avoiding argument error. Any question before we move on? Any question? I know you already did this, but we are coming back to just because of the classes that we do. So this is very important part of it. So return values. So you can see here our function that we have been doing here, we don't have return values. We only have print inside the function, right? We only have print. We have print, right? But a function has what we call a return value. So it's not always that you see inside a function, you have a print. Because when we have a function, we must have a means to return anything that is being done inside the function. We must have a way to return its value. One way is to use print, but the default way that we're doing is using what we call return. So you can see we have definition keyword, get formatted name, we have first name, last name, and we have colon. You remember this is necessary. And this is our doctrine. And the name of the function is called get formatted name. So you have first name, you have a last name. So we have a variable inside the function called full name. Then I have a string, f string, first name and the last name. So here it will print first name and last name. And now you can see here the full name. I want to print the full name. I can say return full name, but I call a function called title on the full name. So who can guess what will happen now? Who can tell us what will happen now when we print this? When we print this one, who can guess what will happen? Okay, so here you can see I said get formatted. I put a name called Jimmy and this, right? Now, when I get formatted, the result is now being saved in musician. So you can see the result is now being saved inside musician. Now, who will tell us what will be the expected outcome? What will be the outcome now when we print the value of musician? What will be the output?
Jimi Hendrix.
Jimi Hendrix, but remember we call title on it. What will happen? Because here we have all small letters and Hendrix. What will
The
happen
initial
now?
will be capitalized.
Yes, so you can see Jimi Hendrix, right? This is what we call return. Anything that you put immediately after return will be, return as a value. And remember, we don't have any semicolon here like this. We don't have anything under, what we have inside the function, immediately after the function, we have this colon, and then we have what we call function body. Yes. But you can return many things. So you can see here, we just return a single, name, a single string, but you can return as many stuff as possible. You can return a dictionary, for example. For example, here you can see build a person. I have something called build a person, first name, last name. Return a dictionary of information about a person, which is doctrine. You can see for you to create a dictionary, you use this colon, right? You use this bracket, right? So you can see first name. I provide the first name I get here. Last name, you can see I provided last name we get here. So it returned the person. So you can see what will be returned because the person here, it will be returned as a dictionary. So when I click here, now I want to call the function, build a person, that is the name of the function. I have two, Jimmy and Hendrix, and now the result is being saved in musician, and now I print musician. What do you expect? What do we expect to see now? Who can tell us?
It should be first name Jimmy, then last name Hendrix.
But what is it? Is it a string or a dictionary or a list or what?
In a dictionary.
Yeah, a dictionary. Yeah, we can see that. First name, Jimmy, last name. So this is something called, so a function can return a dictionary. A function can return a list. What's anything it can return. So this is something that you should understand as well. Passing a list. So you can see here we passes only name, Jimmy, or whatsoever, but you can pass list inside your function. There are a lot of things you can do. One thing you can pass a list. So let me show you. So we want to pass a list of names of the users, and we want to print the name. So here, for example, this is a function greet users, and names. This names is a list of users. List. We know how to create a list, right? For example, users. This is a list. Hannah, Ty, Margot. You remember a list is created using this square bracket, right? We did a list. I think we covered a list in this session. So this is a list. Now, what I want to do is I want to iterate, so you can see this is a function. And inside this function now, I have for loop. So I want to iterate inside the names and greet any one of them, all of the names. So let's look at what will happen. So here you can see that we already did for. You know what for means, right? So for name in names, whatsoever I provided at here, it will iterate. So when I call here, look at what, hello Hannah, hello Ty, hello Margot. So you can see inside the function, you can have loop, you can have while loop, you can have anything you want. So here is just to show you that you can have many things as, you know, as your parameters in a function, not only, you know, just a simple string and whatsoever. So you can have parameters, you can have lists and whatsoever. But then here you can see we pass list, 3 things, right? And we can pass only 2 items. But what if you want to pass arbitrary items, n number of items you don't know, you know, beforehand? For example, you want to greet, you know, people that maybe some occasion is happening at a party, you know, weddings, and you don't know how many people will come. You don't know Hannah, Musa, Talle, Magajia will come. You don't know. Maybe 100 people will come, 200, and you don't know. So you can use what we call passing an arbitrary number of argument in Python. To do that, we use what we call star. Here you put star and you put the name of the item. So here we want to, you know, use an example of, you know, pizza. So you want to do some toppings, and we want to list the item that we want to give as a toppings. So let's look at it. Definition, make pizza. This is the function name. And we have something called toppings. This can be anything like X, Y, whatsoever, but we just call it toppings. And now print the list of toppings that have been requested. So maybe people have requested toppings in pizza place, and you want to print the list. So here you can see we have a function, and make a pizza. That's the name of the function. And we have toppings. Now, what the function is doing only is printing these toppings. You can see here we don't have toppings, a list of the toppings. So now make pizza. We have now here, you can see we have pepperoni. And when I have this, the function name here, you can see make pizza. I have only 1 argument. So what will happen when I put, you can see it gives me pepperoni, it prints the topping because I have only 1. What if I have n number of items? I have mushroom, I have green pepper, I have extra cheese. So here I have 3 items. When I click here, you can see it will print 3 mushroom, green pepper, extra cheese. So this is something you should know. When you see any asterisk in the parameter name, that is when you are passing arbitrary number of arguments. So you can see the asterisk in the parameter name topping tells Python to make tuple called toppings containing all the values received in the function. And you should know when you have, you know, unlimited number or arbitrary number of argument, the output it will return is what we call a tuple. This is called a tuple because we have only 1 item and a comma. That is called a tuple. So that's, let's move on to the new part. But before we move to another interesting part of function, let me stop and ask if there's any question before we move on. Any question? Okay, so let's go to module. Now we understand how to create a function. To create a function, we just use a def keyword, the name of the function, and provide some argument, you know, some parameters, and now we can use return or whatsoever inside the body of the function. Now, there is something called modules in Python. You can see you can go a step further by storing your function in a separate file called a module and then importing it module in your main program. So you can have a function, and when you have a function and you store that function as a separate file, that is called a module. Let me give you an example. Follow me. This is a function. Who can tell us what this function is doing? Who can tell us? Who can volunteer to tell us what this function is doing? Who can volunteer to tell us what this function is doing? Yes.
The function has 2 parameters.
Mm-hmm.
The first parameter is size, and the second parameter can be like it's not yet like
specified.
can be, yes. So in the first place, the function will print this sentence, and then it will performs an iteration from the topping list, and then return the
Okay. So let's look at it. So this is the function. So we can see the first one, it will print this sentence, and then it will do iteration. So let's see. We can see here, size is 16. We provide the size, and pepperoni, because this is topping, you can be 2 argument, 3 whatsoever. So let's see this. So you can see making a 16-inch pizza in the following toppings. So you can see pepperoni because you have only 1 argument, right? What I provided this one, 12. And you can see here, I have multiple argument here. You can see that. Remember, I use this asterisk. Can you see that? This means you have multiple, n number you don't know. So when I put this, you can see what will happen. Making a 12-inch pizza with the following toppings: mushroom, green pepper, and extra cheese. Now, this is just a function, right? This is a function. We understand now the function, what it's doing. But what is module? What is module in Python? Now, let me take this function, and now save it in a file. I create a file called here. Let me delete this guy. So I delete this guy. Now let me create this a file called pizza.py. So you can see this is a function. This is a file, Python file. And now I put these functions that we created already. This function, can you see it? I copy it, and now I create a new file called pizza, but with the extension .py, and now save it. And now save it. I Control S to save it. Now, this file with function inside it is called module in Python. A file with at least 1 function is called module in Python. This is module. This function, this file is module. So you can see here, instead, if for example here I have 1 million files inside this module, I don't need to come and put this file, these functions here inside this to be less cumbersome. What is good in function is that you can create a file and put all your functions. If you have 1 billion functions, create a file and put all those functions inside it. And now what you need to do to make your programming much easier and cleaner is to just call those functions from those modules. Let me show you example. You can see here I have the function here and now call it here. Now, because now I create a module called pizza.y, which is in the same directory my file is function that I'm running. Let me show you how to run that file. Now, for you to run a module, we need to use some stuff. We call a function module using this. So we need to import that file. We use the name, because the name, what is the name of our file? The name of the module. What is the name of our module? Who can tell us the name of our module?
Pizza.
Pizza. Yes. The name of our module is called pizza. So when I want to use any function, I want to use any function inside pizza, I need to import the module. So here you can see I import the module, import pizza. So I import pizza. Now, for me to use this function inside pizza called make pizza, I need to, because I import, I need to use the module name. I must use this module name. Then what is the name of the function? Make pizza. So you say module name, then function name. Look at it, module name dot function name. This is a format for you to use. So you can see previously here, I have a function here, and now I call it make pizza pepperoni. You can see it, I print this. So, but if you make a module, you can see here is cleaner. I don't need to see all this code, right? I save it in a single file. let's assume your code, this function is line 160,000 lines. If I want to follow this way, I must put the function name and run it and then run this one. But if it is too bulky, the best way is to change that function to module and now call the module inside your program. Now I'm calling the module. Now for you to call any function inside the module, you need to use the module name, then the function name. So let's look what will happen. So you can see the same thing here. You can see the same output here, right? Or I can also use the same thing here. You can see, because I already import the name, import here. I already import pizza, and you can see this is the same thing that we did here. Can you see that? Do we understand? Any question? What is module? What is the difference? Any question? Or it's confusing? Feel free to ask question.
Very clear. It's understood. It's understood.
Okay. That is what we call module. What is module in Python? Module is collection of a file contain Python functions. That is what we call module. Let me show you something again. Inside this Python module, let me say, I say create function to add to subtract numbers. Okay, so I don't want to type. I just want to use. Okay, anyway, I don't know what is happening. So let me say subtract. B. So so you can see here I have a function called subtract numbers. I have a function now here called what? Add numbers. And this function, what we'll be doing, for example, this generate docstring. So here I have something that generates docstring automatically for you. Add numbers. So here you can see I have add numbers. So just to show you, so you can see here I have another function def multiply that multiply two numbers. And now here, if I have a docstring, multiply numbers. So, okay, so let's stop here. So what I want to show you here is that I have now how many functions? I have make pizza, subtract, add, and have multiply. So let me go to my stuff here. I can say import pizza, because that is the name of the module, pizza. And then pizza dot add 2 and 3. What is add? Add is a function inside our module. When I run this, okay, save now, I think. Has no attribute add, you're right. We have add here. Okay. Import pizza this. What's wrong here? Okay, let's have this. So I'm not sure what is happening here. It's saying we don't have attribute here.
So I think maybe we need to save the file, right? For the changes.
I'm saving it, but I think it seems not saving. I save it. Anyway, you can try it, but what I want to show you is that import pizza. It's the same thing. Okay, let's continue. Maybe we can come back. So anyway, what I want to tell you is that no matter how many files you have in your functions you have, this is what we call module. So it's just collection of functions in your file, and that's how we call it. Let me quickly move on. We have 3 minutes. Okay, I have important things to cover. We'll come back to this. So important specific functions. So what I want to tell you that, for example, now inside this module, we have multiple functions. For example, multiply, add, subtract, pizza. And you want to only call pizza. You don't want to call all the module, because when we said here, import, here when I said import pizza, I import all the functions inside the pizza. I import subtract, I import add, I import multiply, I import make pizza. So if you have 1 million functions, then you are importing them, which is not good, something it will make your program. So you can import only one function. So how can you do that? This is how to do that. You can say from pizza, that is from your module, import make pizza. From my module pizza, import function called make pizza. Can you see that? So this one will import only one function called make pizza, instead for it to upload to import everything inside the module. So when I run this one, you can see it works similar to what we have seen right previously. When you have this as well, you can see it works. So this is something you will be seeing in our data science. From something, import something. So from module, which is pizza, import your function. So look at it. Look at the syntax. From module name, import function name. This is a module name. This is a function name. So this is one way to import a single function from a module name. Now, another thing, so you can see here, one good thing here is that the difference between here, you can see when I import the whole module, I need to say the module name dot function name. Can you see? Module name dot function name. But if you import a single function, you don't need to call module name. We don't need to say pizza dot function name. No, because you already imported the function. It's now in your environment. You can only call the function name. So you can see this is something good. But also we have what you call using as to give a function an alias. Sometimes you can see here, I import my function name. What if already in your program, you have a function called make pizza, and now you want to import a single function called make, so you see there will be a conflict. So you can change the name while you importing to make to change the name. So this is it. So from pizza, import make pizza as MP. So this is what we call using as to give a function an alias. That is using as to give you a function a name as an alias. So because maybe in your program you have many functions called make pizza, so you don't want to import the same make pizza to create confusion. So you can create an alias name. So you can see from pizza, import make pizza as MP. So here you can see we only call MP as well, which also work. Just similar to, is the same as importing the function name, where we just use a make pizza function name. But here we are taking it further to make this function name to give it an alias name. Any question before we continue? We are in the last part. Here
Sir.
we give the yes.
So my question is, you said that any file that contain functions is called modules. So if the file does not contain functions, it's contain like list. Since in our 30 days of item, there was a file that we been asked to import in our program. So they don't contain function, but they contain list of countries like that. Is it a modules or not?
No, because it is not module. If you have a single file with if you have a single file with list inside it, that is not a module, because a module you can import a functions. You can see here from module import. What are we importing? Functions. You cannot import a list. That is not a module. So yeah. So importing all functions in a module. Sometimes you can import all the functions inside a module. So for example, here you can see we have, for example, Python functions a lot. like 4, you can import them all. This is the format. From pizza, import star asterisk. Means asterisk, import everything. Import everything. From pizza, import star. So it import everything. So you can see make pizza here. When we run this, it will do this. So this is really discouraged to import everything into your environment. You rather import only the necessary thing that you want to work on rather than importing everything. So this is basically a recap on function which you already did. And what I will highly encourage you is to, I will push, or I already pushed this GitHub to GitHub. You can see that in Python. I already push it, and this is a, our Jupyter notebook. This is a book. What I would highly encourage you is to try to read this chapter from the book, which is called Functions. You will learn a lot and many other things. The book is really good. Where the function chapter, and then you can do the exercises. That would be your assignment. Okay, this one. Okay, you can see the chapter chapter 8 called Functions. You can see it. So what I've just discussed is all explained in detail with simple English. Try to go through it and do the exercise. So you can see defining function. There is 2 exercises, 8.1 and 8.2. Passing argument, there is exercises 8.3 and 8.4. Return values, there is exercise 8.6 and 8.7. Passing a list, there is exercise 8.11. Passing, there is exercise 8.13 and 8.14. Storing, so each section, there is exercise 8. So that's where we stop. And hopefully tomorrow we will go through the chapter called classes. Any question before we go?
Yes, so for the module, does it work only with Python files, or it works with Jupyter Notebooks files?
It works with everything. Good question. It works with everything, Python file, right? So module, so you can have, this is Python file, so you can create, okay, let me show you something like this. Testing module.py. Okay, so this is, you can see this is not Jupyter Notebook, right? So I can have import pizza. Okay, import pizza. So here you can see I import module, right? And then here I can, run this guy, which is make pizza. Okay, let me run this. So you got it. So you can see this is a Python file, testing module. Now I have this, right? Import pizza, I import the pizza, and now I call this. Now, how can I run this guy, Python file? I can right click and say the run in terminal, because this is a Python script. You can run in terminal. You can click here. What is this? Run Python file. Can you see? Run Python file. I can click on this one. So it will run in your terminal because it's a Python file. So it will run it. You can see, it run the script and making a CH Python pipe running. Can you see that? Or you can right click on this file and say run in terminal. Run the Python file in terminal. So run the Python file in terminal. You can see the other one. I can use this one. I can click here, run it, so you can see it, run it. Because this is a Python file, .py. That's why we said that the Jupyter Notebook is very intuitive in teaching. So instead for me to be showing you in this, so I can be just showing you here. You can see the output in the same document. But if you are using Python script, you can see that you write the Python code inside your Python, and the output is in different, environment, which is, in your terminal. You can see what I mean. So that's why Jupyter Notebook is good, intuitive in training. But to answer your question, yes, the Python module can be called in Python scripts. Yes.
Okay. So also does it work in the other way? For example, if I have a function in my Jupyter Notebook, I can use it in another Jupyter notebook or another Python file?
No. For you to call, so that's the essence of having module. You need to create a module separately. You cannot have module as Jupyter Notebook. Module can be have as a Python script module. So yeah, you can only have module as a Python script, the PY, not the Jupyter Notebook, that IPO or MB. No.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Any question? Any question again? Right. So thank you very much for joining. Please try to read the chapter functions. It's really, really important. You will really enjoy it. The English is not that difficult, and try to do the exercises. So what you need to do, part of your, before moving to the next step, just create a new folder and push the exercises for function. Yes. Any question? Okay. Any question?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yes, go on, Abubakar.
Sorry.
Hello.
From
Yes.
pizza, import asterisk. Is that the same thing as just saying import pizza?
Oh yes, good question. So, yeah, good question. I like that one, Abubakar. Good one. So, Abubakar is having a very, very interesting question. So he said, from pizza import asterisk, we are importing everything. You can see here we just say make pizza and this, and we run it, right? Now his question is it sound as from pizza it is same as what import pizza, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So when we have this import pizza. Import pizza. So when we have import pizza, when I run this, it will, can you look at what I have? Import pizza, right?
We lost screen feature.
Oh, you cannot?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Can you see now? Can you see now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what he's asking is that from pizza import asterisk, here we have this. When we run this, we can see this is what it means. Pizza import asterisk. Now his question is it the same as import pizza? Now when we have import pizza here, when we have import pizza, when I run this, no. Okay, import pizza and run this, you can see it gives me an error. When you have import pizza, you import the pizza, you need to, because you import everything here, you import the module, you need to put pizza here, dot. You need to put pizza here, dot. Here you import the module, not the functions inside the module. Yes. But here you say from the module, import all the functions. So this means that all the functions are available inside you. You don't need, you only call the functions.
Yes, I understand, sir. I understand.
Okay, good one.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Any question again? So we have a feedback form. Please try as much as possible, to fill our feedback so that we improve our teaching and, use your feedback to improve as well. Salisu Ibrahim, go on.
Okay, good afternoon. Sorry, my question is just, I just want to know the exact week that we currently now. Is it week 6 or 7?
Oh, you don't know which one we are. Oh, okay, the week. Maybe Abdul Jalil can answer that. I'm not sure. So basically, we had some delay in our weeks for the getting started. I believe we may have additional 1 week with our current plan, I think. So yeah, I'm not sure, but Abdul Jalil can answer. Abdul Jalil, which week are we? Okay, oh, he's not here. Abashir, Elias or Abashir, any question?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just being curious regarding this import pizza, from pizza import asterisk. Because similarly in Java, there is this something similar to this, which import all the libraries. So I don't know.
Yes.
If, so they said that when you import all the libraries, it makes your compiler or runtime is heavy. So is this similar?
It's still the same thing. It's the same thing. That is why I said this is highly discouraged, because it's still the same thing. So import what you really want. For example, if you have 1 million functions inside a module, and when you import all, it means you import 1 million functions inside your environment, which makes it, not. Any question again? Any question? Raise up your hand if there is a question. Okay. So I think there is no question now. Thank you very much for joining. We are in the last part of our getting started. I think we are diving into our data science in the next upper week, I guess. I'm not sure, but Abdul Jalil will get back to Salih so that ask question about that. But we have few weeks and few days to finish our getting started, which is only 5 days. So I think upper week we're gonna get started with the data science. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for joining, and please let us know how we can improve. And yeah, bye bye for now, and see you tomorrow, inshallah, at the same time. Bye bye.